there are more places to advertise than Meta, Google, and TikTok. Hey guys, Jason here with adskills.com, bringing you another episode of The Edge. And in today's episode, we are going to peel apart the marketing of Masterworks. And I'm super excited about this one because I'm using the tools, but I'm also digging into my swipe files. And to be honest, I sat for about an hour or so just trying to rack my brain because I remembered I had some juicy little tidbits, some golden nuggets in my swipe files, and I was digging through my Apple Notes and I eventually found it. And I did not want to start this episode until I had that for you. So without further ado, let's just jump in and let's go to the website first. If you don't know what Masterworks is, it is an art investing platform. So let's just take a look. Their website is going to explain that. So art investing for all. All right, so I see here they right front and center, request an invitation. So you have to get an invitation to the platform. I don't know if that's just like a kind of a scarcity thing or to give it a little bit of cachet, or if you really do need an invitation, but that is front and center, everything above the fold. So you can enter your email to request an invitation to the platform, or continue with Google, or continue with LinkedIn. I think it's kind of interesting they're using those sign-in platforms. Actually, very interesting they're using LinkedIn. I don't see that a lot. So how it works, why art, about, price database, trading. Also, I like the subheader. What if you allocated 5% of your portfolio to art? And as you're going to see, what they're really trying to do is convince people, hey, you need to invest in art. Don't just worry about stocks and real estate, all the same go-tos. They are trying to make the case for art because I feel like this platform is pretty unique because this is the first place I've really seen this where you can do fractional investing in art. So I'll explain what fractional art investing is, and I learned about it through just looking at Masterworks. So they're touting their members here, their artworks purchased, their assets under management. All right, so don't we all just wish we could buy Van Gogh's Starry Night, have it, the authentic one, just hanging back there on the wall, tens of millions of dollars. I don't know how much that would cost. I may know a couple people, some gurus I've worked for that could afford that level of investing, but I think most of us can't really afford to buy that level of art, let alone protect it. So with Masterworks platform, you can get a fraction of the art. So everybody's investing in it together. And I really like what they're doing here. So they're showing the returns that they get on Banksy, George Condo, 39%. I mean, these are really great returns. 27%, 21%. So all of these famous artists, Banksy, Andy Warhol, I don't know all of them. I'm not too up on my art, but I know some of the big names, like your Andy Warhols and people like that, right? They're actually showing some of the pieces of art, like from Banksy here, demonstrating how well it's doing. Another piece there. Okay, so this is really interesting. They're showing a visual, right? So the S&P 500, they're showing that it is typically doing 5.5% per year. So if you just invested in an index fund, maybe that's what you can expect. Gold, 3.2%. I had gold at one point because years ago all the marketing scared me into buying gold. But look at this. Contemporary art, and they're using green there, the money sign. Interesting, they're using red for the stock market. Green, profit, red, losses, a little psychology here. So 13.5%. So a lot of people just have never thought about investing in art because it just wasn't available. So they're showing you here really quickly with some visuals how it's doing compared to what you're used to. And what I really like about their site is their site looks premium. And a lot of you marketers out there, you've seen those people, they're trying to build a big business and they, kind of have a fly-by-night, crappy, 90s-looking website. And I know, a lot of times those, junky-looking sites convert. But if you're really trying to gain people's trust, build a brand, invest in good branding. you need a good designer. So I can tell that they've hired some really good web designers who put a lot of thought into their site, where you can just look at this and you can get a visual and go, oh, art does really well. So, that's just communicated through the visual design. I think you need a really good designer to do that. So request an invitation. They're making their process laid out here very simply, just in, I don't know what you call them. It's almost like bullets, but blocks here. We find iconic artists. We purchase the art. We scrutinize the artwork, and it says sell your shares. You have the option to sell your shares in the trading market or wait until the painting sells. So they explain very quickly what they do. So if you come to this website and you have no idea what you're looking at, what I like is that you can look at this and just download very quickly, what Masterworks is all about. So I give all that to like great design. So kudos to their designer. I think a lot more people need to be investing in good branding, right? If you want to be a household name, you got to start looking like Apple, or like care about your design. So they have their press coverage. Like I said, I think a lot of thought has gone into really what they're showing and what takes the priority, right? And down to the FAQs. If you still need more information, right? And again, they're hitting you with that call to action, request an invitation. So it was at the top. You read, you understand what Masterworks is about, build the credibility, get to know the company, and again, boom, call to action. And then that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and jump over to Google. I went ahead and Googled them, and I say this every episode, but go ahead and bid on those brand terms. Make sure you're coming up at the top. They're doing that. They're not taking up a ton of real estate here, like I've seen some of our other examples. Like you can have more site links, but hey, it's fine. Look, aha! Here's a great case in point. You talk about someone. I typed in Masterworks. There you go. Someone bidding on competitor terms. art.svncap.com. Invest in fine art. 22.5% average returns, right? So you type in Masterworks, these guys are looking to snag you right there. So if Masterworks wasn't bidding on their brand terms, boom, you would have these guys coming up first, stealing a lot of your clicks, right? The reviews look good there. YouTube videos coming up. So cool. Let's go ahead and jump over to SimilarWeb. One thing I want to point out, I noticed this because I've been swiping these guys' ads for a while, and they used to be masterworks.io, and this time when I was prepping for this episode of The Edge, I noticed they're masterworks.com. So they went ahead and bought the .com, and I bet this was not cheap. Haven't we all been in that situation where you just have a brilliant idea for a website and you run over to GoDaddy or Namecheap or whatever and you start typing the name in and you're like, oh, someone already got it, registered in 2002, or even worse, registered in 2023. Someone just snagged it up, the dang squatters or whatever, stealing all the domains. But they were masterworks.io, and now they're masterworks.com. So, that's another kind of hidden lesson there, right? If you're starting a company and, I don't know too many people who come right out of the gates just buying really expensive .coms. I'm sure it does happen, but you can always get it later on once your company starts making money. Hey, look at Meta. They had threads.net. They didn't even have threads.com. So Masterworks has masterworks.com. All right. So the visitors, 767K, a minute and 44 seconds on the site. So if we look at their traffic, it was down in May. June, it's way up. I don't know what that's all about. Yeah, they're steadily climbing. That was a little bit skewed, right? Their traffic is steadily climbing over the last few months. Age distribution, okay, so 62% male, 38% female. That makes sense. I mean, in finance, a lot of times, I'll be researching websites and things like that and see it's like 80% male. So you usually see more males in investing. What's super interesting here, though, that kind of caught me off guard is the 25 to 34 age bracket is way up. So maybe that means the younger folks are just looking for something different to invest in, right? Just besides stocks. So that could be something right there, that they're appealing to that younger demographic that's just looking for something different. But surprisingly, 25 to 34, their number one age bracket. So direct, 60%, organic search, 13%, referrals, We'll see this later in the research. Referrals 3%, paid search, social is about 10%. Email, pretty sure these guys probably do email marketing even from third parties, and 2% on display. I would have thought their display would have been a bit higher, right? We're already starting to see some of their keywords, Masterworks, brand term, but Banksy, invest in art. We'll get more into that in SEMRush. Okay, social network distribution, very, very YouTube heavy, big time. And Quora, I've seen their ads there. I grabbed a swipe for you guys. Very YouTube heavy though. Let's go ahead and jump over to SEMRush. Organic search traffic, about 90K. Paid search traffic, 4.2K. And over 100K backlinks. Not bad. All right, this is what I'm interested in. Their top organic keywords. Let's just go ahead and dive in here and take a look. They're coming up for Masterworks. They're getting traffic for that. That's their brand name. That's great. Wow, they're actually ranking for Banksy. That's got a nice, decent amount, about 11K on the search volume there. They're organically ranking for that. How to save money? They're number 5 for that. Cause figures, I'm not sure what that is. Maybe that's an artist? I'm not sure. Banksy art. So they're ranking up there for that, for Banksy. So maybe people who are just interested in the art itself and hadn't even thought about investing, once they see they have the opportunity to invest fractionally, there's just more to it than the numbers, right? You can kind of be proud to say, hey, I'm invested in Banksy, right? Or, that way it becomes more than just spreadsheets and numbers. You actually have, a story behind it, something that just catches your interest more. That's weird. Tommy Hilfiger net worth. Yeah, they're coming up a lot for Banksy. Interesting, they're coming up for net worth. Kevin O'Leary. Interesting. So I just got to click on this. I did not see this in my preparation. So they've got a blog at Insights. Kevin O'Leary's net worth. Nice little content table here. All right, I got to hand it to them. They are doing some SEO. This is pretty smart. I like this. So O'Leary Collectibles Collection. So they brought in the traffic about O'Leary, people interested in O'Leary. And in addition to investing in stocks, cryptocurrencies, startups, Kevin O'Leary is a passionate collector of luxury watches, classic guitars, and modern art. Looks like they've done their research, right? They've looked up famous figures, well-known people who are actually interested in investing in art, and they've written a blog post about them. They've had to have done the research here. So that's pretty smart, and they're snagging these terms here. Or I should say, Masterworks is a company that is utilizing SEO effectively. And they are, wow, yeah, they're getting some traffic from all these net worth keywords here. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a general idea there of what they're doing. They are doing SEO, and looks like it's working. And there is a strategy to it, right? Kevin O'Leary, he actually invests in art. So it's a way to introduce this concept of like, you can invest in more than stocks and bonds and real estate. So I like it. There's some branding there. Nice blog. Very good. I like that. They weren't showing up for a ton of display, but let's go ahead and jump into AdBeat. Google Display is actually their number 1 channel, according to AdBeat. They're coming up for Yahoo, Gemini, YouTube, Taboola. I mean, these aren't some of the huge numbers that we're used to looking at here on the Edge, but they are covering a variety of networks. And I kind of got the feeling that these guys were everywhere because I was just seeing their ads in the wild on just different platforms, and I just kind of felt like they were everywhere. But the spend doesn't look massive, though. Could be something with the tools, too, and the domain change from .io to .com. Let's take a look at a few of the ads they're doing here. Okay. The number 1 alternative asset play for 2023 and beyond. Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Ken Griffin already invested millions. This is reading very much like a native ad. There's no image here, but you have a very catchy headline that's kind of like a story, and they have a button that says click to read more. Let's click. It still could be working. They're going to the homepage. Maybe a better strategy would have been to go to an advertorial page. There's a lot going on with their marketing, though. So, it's hard to get around to everything, but hey, maybe this is working. But they're just leading them straight to the homepage. But the ad kind of reads like you're going to read a story, and then it just drops you off on the homepage. Again, it may be working just fine. Okay, here we get into some of the image ads. So being a company that focuses on artwork, Gives them a really good setup to do some interesting images. Quirky collector exposes art market. A Banksy's offer recently sold out in 34 minutes on this app. Okay, that makes sense to take that one to the homepage, and I can see that, they're taking you to the homepage. And calling it an app, that's cool. And I noticed that they're taking you to the homepage on all of these. Let's look at some of their others. I like this. This is how you can invest in art and live like the ultra rich. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like the Van Gogh, the Starry Night, the investment spin on it. It's kind of like a collage. Revealed, art buyer shares secret to art investing. This won't open for me, but it looks like they are leading you to an article there. And it's easy when I'm looking at the tools to say, oh, they should have tried this. They should have wrote an advertorial. They probably have. It looks like they have been writing advertorials, but I'm sure they're just trying a lot of different things. A lot of times what we think is going to crush it may not, and just sending to the homepage could convert even better. I mean, you find these things out when you're kind of in the trenches and really, really working on it. All right, so we see here Masterworks.io, which is the URL I was used to. I'm not going to click on this. It's not really showing a lot of ad spend, but that's something good to realize when you're looking at tools is that, if they've changed their URL, it may kind of split off some of your impressions when you're using the tools. When we look at their ads here, their number one source on AdBeat was Google Display Network. So we got Google Display, and here we actually have Google DV360, which is Google's programmatic ad serving platform. I've dabbled with that platform, and the thing is a beast. I'm not going to get into it, but you can advertise on Google and hundreds of other ad networks. It's really the whole open internet. It is a beast, and they're using it. All right, so we see they're on Yahoo Gemini native, they're on Taboola, so they really are in a lot of places. Okay, let's take a quick look at their meta ads. Okay, let me read this again. Rockefeller left to his heirs and the public the Rockefeller legacy, and now thanks to an NYC Fintech, you can be part of this too. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, so they're doing advertorials on Facebook. Own a stake of the Rockefeller legacy. So they catch you with the Rockefeller thing, and then they do a pivot into art investing, and then right here they have their CTA. Skip the wait list is the call to action. So they're going for like a long form here. First name, last name, email, phone number, and how much are you looking to invest? So they're doing something a little bit different on this page. And to this point so far, I can say these guys are testing a lot of stuff. I noticed when I was poking around on LinkedIn, they have a heavy hitter in their marketing department who used to work for one of the big Agora imprints. So I'm not surprised that these guys are just testing a ton of stuff. So when I say go off the beaten path, you start to notice who's working at certain companies on LinkedIn. So a lot of times when I'm bringing you guys these Edge episodes, it's not just me reading through the tools. I mean, I'm kind of digging through stuff, and things start to pop up, and I make connections, and it makes sense. But I can tell they're testing a lot of things, they're trying a lot of things, and it all makes sense now. Oh, and just to clarify, Agora is a big player. For those of you that don't know, they're a big player in the financial space. And what I am saying is that someone that used to work in their marketing, I just noticed on LinkedIn that he was running the marketing efforts at Masterworks, at least the last time I checked. So I just know of him by reputation that he's a smart marketer, good traffic guy. So yeah, let's always remember, you can use Facebook as a native ad platform. It's perfect because the ads just blend right into the feed. It's native advertising. They've gone story format like you would see on Taboola. They're doing that here. So with the Rockefeller play here, interesting. Oprah sells painting for an eye-popping 71% return in record time. Let me just click on this, see what that brings up. Yeah. So another advertorial. This is really cool because when people are on the internet, most of the time, at least this is what I believe, people are just browsing around looking for interesting things. They're scrolling, they're reading articles, they're reading about what's going on in the world. And things like this are just stories that feel current and are interesting to people. It captures their attention. This is a big part of like really good native advertising. So Oprah, a known figure, you're like, wow, she did 71% return on a piece of art, on a painting. Awesome. This ties directly into what we're trying to sell you on at Masterworks. We're saying, hey, people are doing this. This is a big thing of what they're trying to, convince you of, is that art is a great investment, right? This headline proves that, right? So you can read about Oprah, someone that you know, someone that is very, very successful, someone that's smart and successful. Obviously, most investors wish they could invest alongside Oprah in this historic art deal. So kind of the follow along effect. Oprah made all this money on the painting. Well, everybody on Main Street wishes they could do the same. Very easy to relate to. Boom, hitting you with their charts, showing how Masterworks is doing. And again, when people are investing in stocks, maybe hoping to do 10%, maybe they're actually way down, this stuff starts to catch people's eyes, right? Like, what else could I be investing in? So they're doing a great job with stories, headlines, hitting you with the visuals, right? Hitting you with visuals. They're really selling you on this. I like this. That's great stuff. Okay, we're going to hop around here. I mean, you could go down this rabbit hole for hours. All right, here we see a lot of the variations of their search ads, fractional art investing, introducing that term, fractional. I think it's very self-explanatory. So when I looked on Social Blade, I'm seeing they only have 809 subscribers. So YouTube, in the traditional sense of, I want a ton of subscribers, isn't a strong point for them right now, but they still have a lot going on YouTube, which I'll show you in just a minute. But when we go here, yep, it's about a little over 800 subscribers. So YouTube's not a huge factor in this sense. So we're just going to skip on by this. There's nothing to see here, people, nothing to see. But where it gets interesting though, so when you're doing research, a lot of times what you need to do is just become the avatar. You become the avatar and you just start researching, and you're going to find lots of interesting things. You're going to start getting hit with those ads. So that is a great thing to do. Just go in to all these different platforms and start searching and start seeing what comes up, and you'll uncover a lot. I'm noticing that he's appearing on other people's platforms. OPP, other people's platforms, right? The Investors Podcast Network. Here he is in a short. Here he is on CNBC. They've got 2.5 million subscribers. So the CEO here is doing a good job of getting out there and creating some publicity. And when we look at their 800 subscribers, like, nah, they're not doing anything on YouTube. But look, here he is on YouTube on a channel that has 2.45 million subscribers. Not bad. And he is appearing on a lot of these other channels as well, like this. And this is actually a strategy that I had never really thought about much, but a guy named Pete Vargas actually teaches this, where you leverage other people's platforms. You get your message down and you just start trying to get booked on podcasts, right? You start trying to get in front of other people's audiences because they have the trust built up already. They have the audience. You want to get in front of the audiences that they've built up. So this is a strategy in and of itself, right? So if you have the CEO, someone that represents the company, if you're out there getting on stages. So Pete's program is called Stages, right? So you want to get on other people's stages, whether it's a live event, it's a podcast, it's an interview, and you're just getting on their platforms because they've already built up trust with their audience, right? And you get to be positioned as the expert. So when we think about YouTube, it's not always about just having your own channel. It's, the stages effect of getting on other people's platforms. So, and that's what he's doing there. And another thing I found when, just crawling through YouTube is that they have an affiliate program as well. You can see this guy's link right here. So this channel, 40,000 subscribers, called Fintech, Masterworks full walkthrough. Maybe this affiliate's making a nice little income promoting Masterworks, right? So you can see he's got his link there. 10-minute video. There's another one. Masterworks review, art investing for beginners and experts alike. There's his Masterworks link. So I know a lot of people in our community are really interested in the affiliate space. You know, you pick a niche and then you start finding things that you can promote. And if you can get out there as the face of a brand, there you go. You don't have to. You can just be behind the scenes if that's more your thing. But, you know, this is an example of how it works, right? This guy's, let's just take a look at this. Logan Alec. So he's doing a Masterworks review. I'm assuming, oh, cool. I love this. Logan Alec, he's a CPA, choice tax relief. But look at this. The guy has 135K subscribers. I'm sure he's promoting all kinds of different affiliate links, talking about money. This is how you do it, folks, right here. All right, guys. This is where we get into bonus territory. And this is where I was racking my brain and I refused to start this video until I could just keep searching my computer and find out where I stored away those swipes. Yes, I do a lot of swipes. I'm not always the most organized with it. I'll put it aside. I rely on the search function to bring it up. Well, I finally found my swipes because I'm like, man, I knew it was out there. I knew I saw this stuff. I can't do this episode and not mention these things. So let's take a look here, because I think this stuff doesn't always come up in the tools where you can see these ads, but Quora. So I'm just looking here and I see this person here, Kazia. Not sure, I probably butchered her name, but interesting, right? Did Harry inherit more than William? Right, so you have a hard time even figuring out in the scroll that this is an ad at first, which this is, you know, what good ads are supposed to do is kind of blend in. So, but we see it's promoted, and she works at Masterworks, right? So this is kind of like a native ad just built into a Quora post, right? So, you know, when you're thinking native ads, they can, you know, be like the kind that you see on websites where it's an image, a headline, you click, you read the article. But this is all of that kind of just smushed into a Quora post. You can do the same thing on Facebook because you can write really long posts, right? So at some point, she pivots over into Masterworks and linking out into Masterworks, making the pitch about how contemporary art has outpaced the S&P 500, right? So I thought it was interesting they were there. I had to search for this because, you know, it's everywhere, and then as soon as I get ready to record an episode, I can't find them anywhere. But I found this one. The next thing I found in my swipes is, I swiped this over a year ago, and I found this in my Apple Notes. But this is one I just snagged because I just thought it was a cool ad. I was really researching NFTs a lot at the time, and this looks like a Bored Ape, which was in the news a ton, so people were familiar with this. They blurred it out, which is kind of a pattern interrupt. And the headline's kind of a pattern interrupt and funny too. Discover the boomer asset giving Gen Z a run for its money. So a very catchy headline. And this was in Apple News. I've talked about this in previous episodes. Another kind of place where, you know, people forget that you can advertise in different places. Apple News is a nice environment, a nice premium environment. So I thought this was an interesting ad. I just swiped it because I just like the ad. What this will prove is that there are more places to advertise than Meta, Google, and TikTok. There are hundreds of ad networks, probably thousands, just all kinds that you've never heard of. So I thought that this would be a nice little case study for this video. And this is the one I really had to rack my brain on because I thought it was in Apple Notes, but it was actually in a Monday board. So I found this website probably over a year ago when just doing some research. It's a website called Money Made. Let's just take a look here. All right. Find your next investment. Money Made AI finds your investment matches. Simply ask a question and discover your options. So this is one too from like a year ago. I remembered Masterworks was on. So when I click here, they are recommending investing platforms because these things are starting to pop up more, like Vino Invest. This is build a personalized wine portfolio with AI plus human experts. So all these investing platforms are starting to pop up. So this is one where you can find the right investment platform for you. Right? So right here we have Masterworks, and it is featured on this website. Let's type in something else, farmland. Right? So farmland, acre trader. Let's do crypto. Crypto.com. Let's do art. Can read articles there. Let's do stocks. Right? So it's got all the investment platforms, Robinhood, Public, Stash. Okay, and what's super interesting here, and you can do this on a lot of websites. I'll show you another example, but when you start researching a niche and you find the types of websites that your target customers go to, it's always worth scrolling to the bottom and seeing if you can find this little link called advertise, right? So we see that Money Made is actually a financial advertising network, which is super interesting. There's a lot of these in finance. All an advertising network is an exchange between publishers and advertisers. They're just the middlemen who serve the ads. Think about it. Google Display, you go to a website, there's an AdSense ad. All Google is doing is providing the technology to serve the right ad to the right person, hopefully. But there's a lot more players out there than just Google. And a lot of these can be really high quality. I've never used this one, but I've used these kind of little niche ad networks that focus on a certain thing. Like in finance, you also have Dionomy. It's comparatively a small ad network, but all they focus on is finance. And they tend to have really high quality placements. But keep that in mind. All an ad network is an exchange, right? So they help the publishers monetize and they help advertisers get access to the inventory to advertise on the websites that they want to without having to reach out all the time to the site owner themselves, which you can still do that too. So our tools are used by top tier finance products and sites. So they are an ad network apparently with ad units on these various websites. Right? And you can start reading about what they have available. Acquire engaged fintech users. So 10 million US fintech users reach per month. 22% of users are accredited investors. Right? They have this data. Fully automated and optimized for high quality lead gen. So doesn't this start to make sense that if I am Masterworks and I'm looking for hopefully accredited investors, because those are the people who have more money to invest, wouldn't this be a perfect fit? Right? So I click on this, reach new users, boom, it's an ad network. Set up your campaign today. So there you go. If you're looking for something different, you can find ad networks like these, opportunities like these. You just log in and you can start serving ads. All right, let's take a look a little bit further. Just like Google, you've got the ability to go in, self-serve, make your ads, track your performance, automated campaign reporting. Of course, we're all used to that with Google and Facebook and everything. Right? So this is focused on fintech users. Let's take a look at some of the ad units they have. So you can actually see their ad units, and they explain them here. Money pitch. Give contextual product pitches. Right? So that's what the ad's going to look like. Money leads. Money links. Right there, they're putting links in articles. Money bubble. So imagine a user goes to one of these high quality websites and boom, there's this little pop-up, Masterworks right there. Money bar, money card, right? So a lot of unique inventory. So I hope you enjoyed those bonuses. I wanted to just geek out for a little bit and show you how you could veer off the beaten path and do something a little different. In a lot of cases, maybe it turns out even better, right? Finding something very unique like this. So Masterworks is doing it. I had to dig deep to find this, but these guys are probably doing a lot more things that I'm not even aware of. This takes a lot of footwork just out there in the wild to find this stuff. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed bringing you this episode. This is Jason signing off, and I will see you in the next edition of The Edge.